The humidity in Austin, Texas, usually felt like a warm embrace, a heavy blanket that smelled of damp earth and cedar. But tonight, inside the cramped apartment on East 6th Street, the air felt suffocating. It felt like a cage. Hannah Pierce sat on the edge of her bathtub, the cold porcelain pressing against her thighs, her forehead resting against the cool tile of the wall. Every breath was a negotiation. Inhale, sharp, stabbing fire radiating from the left side of her torso. Exhale, a dull, throbbing ache that settled deep in her bones. She looked at the mirror. The girl staring back didn't look like the Hannah Pierce who worked the rooftop bar at the Driscoll, the one who posted pictures of acai bowls and sunsets with captions like, "New week, fresh start." The girl in the mirror looked gray. Her eyes were rimmed with red, not from crying, but from the sheer exhaustion of hypervigilance. She was 24 years old, but in the harsh bathroom light, she felt ancient. She touched her side gently. She didn't need an X-ray to know. She knew the feeling of a cracked rib. She knew the specific grinding sensation of bone protesting against movement. It had happened 3 days ago. Travis Cole. The name itself made her stomach turn. To the rest of Austin, Travis was the golden boy of the local real estate scene. Charming, with a smile that could sell a condemned house for double the asking price. He was the guy who bought rounds for the bar, the guy who volunteered at the animal shelter on Saturdays. But Hannah knew the Travis who existed when the curtains were drawn. She knew the Travis who viewed her independence not as a trait, but as a flaw in his design. 3 days ago, an argument about a missed phone call had escalated. It wasn't a cinematic brawl. It was fast, efficient, and terrifyingly silent. A shove against the granite island counter, the sickening crunch of her side hitting the edge. And then his whisper, devoid of anger, terrifyingly calm. "You're clumsy, Hannah. You really need to be more careful." He had left for a business trip to Dallas right after. But he was coming back tonight. Hannah looked at her phone resting on the sink. It buzzed. A notification from Instagram. Travis Cole tagged you in a post. She didn't open it. She knew what it would be. A throwback photo. A declaration of love. A public stake claiming his territory. It was part of the cycle. The pain, then the public adoration to make her feel insane for wanting to leave. "I can't do this," she thought. The realization hit her harder than the injury. If he comes back tonight and I'm still here, I might not survive the next accident. Panic, cold and electric, surged through her. She needed a way out. But where? Travis knew her friends. He knew her schedule. He had the passcode to her apartment for emergencies. She felt the walls closing in, the air growing thinner. She grabbed her phone, her fingers trembling so hard she could barely unlock the screen. She needed Dr. Aris, her therapist from 2 years ago. The woman who had told her, "If you ever feel unsafe, don't think. Just act." Hannah searched her contacts. She found the name under Dr. A. Emergency. She didn't look at the digits. She just hit the message icon. She couldn't call. If Travis was checking the logs or if he walked in, she couldn't be heard speaking. She typed, her thumbs slipping over the glass, tears finally spilling over and stinging her cheeks. "He broke me. I don't know what to do anymore. I think he's coming back tonight. I can't breathe. Send." She stared at the screen, the blue bubble delivering her confession into the void. She held her breath, waiting for the 3 dots that would signal Dr. Aris was awake, even though it was 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. The phone buzzed. Hannah gasped, clutching the device. New message. "Who is this?" Hannah's heart stopped. She looked at the number at the top of the screen. In her panic, she had transposed the last 2 digits. It wasn't 5598. It was 5589. She had sent her desperate plea to a stranger. A wave of nausea rolled over her. She had just exposed her darkest secret to a random person. It was probably a teenager, or a scammer, or worse, someone who knew Travis. Austin was a big city, but it felt like a small town when you were hiding. She was about to block the number, to throw the phone into the bathtub and curl into a ball, when the phone buzzed again. New message. "Do you need police? Medical?" The tone was sharp, direct, no emojis, no OMG. Hannah hesitated. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. If she called the police, Travis would talk his way out of it. He always did. "She's hysterical, officer. She fell. Check her medical records. She has a history of anxiety." And then, when the police left, she would be alone with him. She typed back, fear making her honest. "No police. He knows them. He'll talk his way out. I need to disappear. I'm sorry I texted the wrong number. Forget this." She set the phone down, defeated. She stood up, wincing as her ribs screamed in protest. She needed to pack a bag. She would go to a motel on the outskirts of town. A cash payment. The phone buzzed again. A long vibration. She looked down. New message. "Don't leave the apartment yet. Stay away from the windows. Is the door locked?" Hannah frowned. Who was this? "Who are you?" she typed. The response was instantaneous. New message. "Someone who believes you. Help is on the way." She stared at the words. Help is on the way. It sounded like a line from a movie or a lie, but there was a strange gravity to it, a certainty. "Send me your address. Now." It was a command, not a question. Against every survival instinct that told her to trust no one, against the logic that said this was dangerous, Hannah felt a strange pull. It was the first time in 3 days, no, in 2 years, that someone hadn't asked her what she did to cause the problem. They had just offered a solution. She typed her address. 404 Brazos Saint, Apt 3B. New message. Pack a bag, essentials only. Documents, medication, 1 change of clothes. Leave your phone on the counter. Do not bring it. Leave my phone. That was her lifeline. But the stranger was right. Travis tracked her location. Find my friends was always on. It was a condition of their relationship. New message. My team is 3 minutes out. Look for a black SUV. The driver is a woman. Her name is Maya. She will know the code phrase, Blue Horizon. If she doesn't say it, do not open the door. Hannah's breath hitched. Team, code phrase. She scrambled into the bedroom. She grabbed a canvas backpack. Passport. Birth certificate. The bottle of painkillers she had hidden in a tampon box. A warm sweater. Jeans. She moved with the frantic energy of a prey animal sensing the predator's scent on the wind. She heard the rumble of an engine outside. She crept to the window, peering through the slats of the blinds. Down on the rain-swept street, a matte black SUV, large and imposing, idled silently at the curb. It didn't look like an Uber. It looked like something government officials rode in. A woman stepped out. She was tall, wearing a dark trench coat and combat boots. She didn't look around nervously. She scanned the perimeter with practiced military efficiency. She looked up directly at Hannah's window, as if she knew exactly where Hannah was standing. The woman raised a hand, palm open. Wait. Hannah's intercom buzzed. She ran to the wall unit. Hello? Her voice shook. Delivery for 3B. A calm female voice said. I didn't order anything. Hannah whispered. The code. It's from a friend, the voice replied. Blue Horizon. Hannah unlocked the downstairs door. Her heart hammered against her injured ribs, a painful rhythm of hope and terror. She looked at her phone one last time. New message. Go. You are not alone anymore. She left the phone on the kitchen counter, next to the half-empty cup of coffee from that morning. She grabbed her bag, opened her apartment door, and stepped into the hallway. She didn't look back. The elevator ride down felt like a descent into a new dimension. Hannah clutched the straps of her canvas bag so tightly her knuckles turned white. When the doors slid open, the lobby was empty, save for the woman standing by the glass doors. Up close, Maya was intimidating. She was striking, with sharp cheekbones and hair pulled back into a severe, practical bun. She radiated a kind of kinetic energy, coiled, ready to spring. She wasn't wearing a security guard uniform. She was dressed in high-end tactical gear disguised as street fashion. Hannah? Maya asked. Her voice was low, devoid of the pity Hannah had expected. It was professional. Yes. I'm Maya, Chief of Security for Mr. Grayson. We need to move. Now. Mr. Grayson? Hannah asked, stumbling as she tried to keep up with Maya's long strides toward the SUV. Who is... Later, Maya said, opening the back door of the SUV. The interior was tan leather, smelling of mint and expensive detailing. "Get in. Keep your head down until we clear the downtown perimeter." Hannah climbed in. The door shut with a heavy, reassuring thud that sealed out the noise of the city. The rain drummed rhythmically on the roof. Maya slid into the driver's seat. "Package secure," she said into a small earpiece. "Route B. We have a tail?" "Negative. Clear." As the car pulled away, merging seamlessly into the late-night traffic, Hannah felt the adrenaline crash. The pain in her side roared back to life. She gasped, doubling over slightly. "Injuries?" Maya asked, looking in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were dark and assessing. "Ribs," Hannah wheezed. "I think cracked." Maya didn't flinch. "There's a medical kit in the center console behind you. Ice pack is instant activation. Squeeze it. Do you need an analgesic?" I have some," Hannah stammered, overwhelmed by the efficiency. This wasn't a rescue. It was an operation. "Where are we going?" "Safe location," Maya said, taking a sharp left turn that made the heavy car sway gently. "Mr. Grayson doesn't do things by halves. If he says help is on the way, he means a solution, not a band-aid." "I don't even know who he is," Hannah whispered, pressing the cold pack against her side. The relief was instant, numbing the fire. "I texted the wrong number." "Best mistake you ever made," Maya muttered. "Mr. Grayson is particular. He values privacy above everything. The fact that he answered you personally, that's rare. He usually filters everything through me." They drove for 20 minutes, leaving the neon haze of downtown Austin for the winding roads of the hill country. The houses got bigger, the driveways longer. They were entering Westlake Hills, where the billionaires and tech moguls lived in fortresses of glass and stone hidden behind iron gates. "Does Travis know I'm gone?" Hannah asked, the fear creeping back in. "He will soon," Maya said, "but he won't find you. We swapped your digital footprint the moment you stepped out the door." "What does that mean?" "Your phone," Maya explained. "Before you left, our tech team remotely cloned its signal. Right now, to anyone tracking it, your phone is moving toward San Antonio. A decoy. By the time he realizes you aren't in that car, you'll be behind 3 layers of biometric security." Hannah stared at the back of Maya's head. This was educational in a way she hadn't expected. She realized how naive she had been. She thought leaving meant just walking out the door. But in a world of GPS, smartwatches, and social media, walking out was just the beginning of being hunted. "Why?" Hannah asked softly. "Why help me? You don't know me." Maya slowed the car as they approached a massive steel gate. It slid open silently. "Because," Maya said, her voice softening just a fraction, "Elliot, Mr. Grayson, knows what it's like to scream into a room and have no one answer. He decided a long time ago that if he heard a scream, he'd answer it." The car wound up a steep driveway lined with limestone walls. At the top, a house emerged from the darkness. It wasn't a mansion in the traditional sense. It looked like a modern fortress, sleek lines, concrete, floor-to-ceiling glass, and warm amber lighting that cut through the mist. "Welcome to the stronghold," Maya said. "You're safe here, Hannah. Truly." Hannah looked at the structure. For the first time in years, the knot in her chest loosened. But another feeling replaced it. Imposter syndrome. She was a bartender. She served drinks to people who lived in houses like this. She didn't belong here. "What does he want in return?" Hannah asked, cynicism born of survival. Maya parked the car and turned off the engine. She turned around to face Hannah. "Nothing," Maya said. "And that's going to be the hardest thing for you to believe." The interior of the house was quiet. Not the eerie silence of an empty apartment, but the heavy, insulated silence of a library or a museum. The floors were polished concrete, softened by thick wool rugs. The art on the walls was abstract and moody. Maya led Hannah into a living area that overlooked the Austin skyline, glittering miles away like a fallen galaxy. "Wait here," Maya said. "I'll get the medical team." "Team?" Hannah asked, but Maya was already gone. Hannah stood awkwardly in the center of the room, clutching her canvas bag. She felt dirty, small, and broken in this space of perfection. "You should sit. Adrenaline masks the pain, but once it wears off, standing is going to be agony." The voice came from the shadows of the adjoining kitchen. Hannah spun around, wincing. A man stepped into the light. He wasn't wearing a tuxedo or a suit. He wore a dark gray hoodie, sleeves pushed up, and faded jeans. He was holding a glass of water. He was younger than she expected, maybe early 30s. He had dark, messy hair and eyes that were startlingly intense, the color of slate. He didn't look like a billionaire. He looked like a tired graduate student who hadn't slept in a week. "Mr. Grayson?" Hannah asked. "Elliot," he corrected. He walked over, not too close, respecting her space. He placed the water on a low stone table. "Drink. You're dehydrated." Thank you." She sat on the edge of the expansive sofa. "I don't know how to repay you for this. I typed the wrong number." Elliot leaned against the wall, crossing his arms. He studied her, not with lust or pity, but with the analytical gaze of an engineer looking at a structural problem. Statistically, the window for a victim to leave an abuser and actually stay away is less than 15% without external support, Elliot said. His voice was dry, factual. "The system is designed to make you fail. Financial dependence, fear, social isolation. I simply leveled the playing field." Hannah blinked. It wasn't exactly a warm welcome, but it was refreshing. He wasn't treating her like a wounded bird. He was treating the situation like a logic puzzle he intended to solve. "You read my text," she said. "I did." Elliot's expression tightened slightly, and I recognized the tone. Panic, resignation. "Maya said you've done this before." "I help people when the system fails," Elliot said vaguely. "But I don't run a charity, Hannah. I run a strategy firm. And right now you are in a war. You just don't realize it yet." "A war?" Hannah touched her ribs. "I just want to hide." "Hiding is a temporary tactic, not a strategy," Elliot said. Travis Cole. Real estate developer, 32 years old, narcissistic tendencies, highly litigious, deep ties to the local PD through charity events. Hannah's jaw dropped. "How do you know that?" "I've been researching him since you sent the text at 2 a.m., Elliot said. "Know your enemy. He isn't just a bad boyfriend, Hannah. He's a predator. And when predators lose control, they don't give up. They escalate." A door opened, and Maya returned, followed by a woman in scrubs carrying a sleek medical case. "This is Dr. Rao," Maya said. "She's going to assess the damage. We need documentation, high-resolution photos of the bruising, x-rays. We have a portable unit." Hannah shrank back. "I don't want photos. I don't want anyone to see." Elliot stepped forward. For the first time, his voice lost its analytical edge and became softer. "Hannah, listen to me," he said, locking eyes with her. "I know you want to erase this. I know you want to pretend it didn't happen. But right now, Travis holds the narrative. He can say you're crazy. He can say you fell. He can say you attacked him." He pointed to the medical bag. "This?" Elliot said. "This is ammunition. We document everything, every bruise, every crack. We seal it with a timestamp. If he ever tries to come for you, legally or physically, we don't just defend. We destroy his lie with the truth. But we need the evidence." Hannah looked from Elliot to Maya to the doctor. They were waiting for her permission. They weren't forcing her. She took a deep breath. The pain in her ribs flared, a reminder of why she was here. "Okay," she whispered. "Do it." Elliot nodded, a sharp, decisive movement. "Good. Maya, stay with her. I'm going to the server room. I need to secure her digital perimeter before Cole wakes up and realizes his property is missing." He turned to leave, then paused. "And Hannah?" She looked up. "You're not property anymore," he said. "You're under the aegis of Grayson Security. Tonight, you sleep. Tomorrow, we plan." As Elliot walked away, Hannah felt a strange sensation. It wasn't happiness. She was in too much pain for that. It was the feeling of ground beneath her feet. Solid ground. She looked at Maya. "Is he always this intense?" Maya smiled, a rare small expression. "Only when he cares? Now let's get you fixed up." Meanwhile, in downtown Austin, the rain had stopped, leaving the streets shimmering under the streetlights. Travis Cole unlocked the door to the apartment on East 6th Street. He was humming a low tune. He carried a bouquet of flowers. Lilies, her favorite. a peace offering, a prop for the apology scene he had rehearsed in his head. "Hannah?" he called out, his voice smooth, echoing in the hallway. "Babe, I'm home. I brought you something." Silence. He frowned. He walked into the living room. Empty. He checked the bedroom. The bed was made. He walked into the kitchen. He saw the phone on the counter. He picked it up. It was dead. Travis felt a cold prickle on the back of his neck. This wasn't right. Hannah didn't leave her phone. Hannah didn't leave him. He walked to the closet. He saw the empty space where her backpack usually hung. He saw the drawer where she kept her documents. Empty. The smile vanished from his face. The charm evaporated, revealing something reptilian underneath. She ran. He gripped the flowers so tightly the stems snapped in his hand. "Stupid girl," he whispered to the empty room. "You think you can just walk away?" He pulled out his own phone. He dialed a number. "Yeah, it's me," Travis said, his voice changing instantly to a worried, frantic tone. "Hey, look, I'm really worried about Hannah. I just got home and she's gone. Her phone is here. She's been acting really unstable lately. I think she might hurt herself. Can you run a trace on her car? Please, I just want to make sure she's safe." He hung up, his eyes cold and hard. The hunt had begun. For 2 years, waking up had been a physiological gamble. She would lie still, listening to the breathing beside her, gauging Travis's mood by the rhythm of his sleep or the heaviness of his steps in the hallway. Today there was only light. Soft filtered sunlight streaming through high automated blinds. And silence. She tried to sit up, and her side screamed. The memory rushed back. The cracked ribs. The SUV. The stranger named Elliot. Hannah swung her legs out of the massive bed. She was wearing soft cotton pajamas someone had left for her. On the nightstand, there was a glass of water and a single white pill. Beside it, a handwritten note. Anti-inflammatory. Take with food. Breakfast is downstairs. She walked downstairs slowly, holding the banister. The house was a marvel of modern architecture, all clean lines and open spaces, but it felt lived in today. The smell of roasted coffee beans filled the air. She found Elliot in the kitchen. He wasn't in a suit or tactical gear. He was wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants, barefoot, reading a tablet while whisking eggs in a bowl. "Good morning," he said without looking up. "How's the pain scale? 1 to 10? 4. Hannah lied. It was a 6. Dr. Rao said it would be a 6 today. Elliot corrected gently, pouring the eggs into a pan. "Don't be a hero, Hannah. There's no audience here." He plated the eggs and sliding the dish across the quartz island toward her. He poured her coffee. "Eat. Protein aids tissue repair." Hannah sat. She took a bite. It was delicious. "You cook?" "I optimize," Elliot replied, finally cracking a half smile. "I live alone. If I don't cook, I don't eat well. If I don't eat well, my brain slows down. I can't afford that." He slid a sleek black smartphone across the counter. "What's this?" "Your new life," Elliot said. "It's an encrypted device. No GPS tracking, no cloud backups linked to your old identity. It has a new number. Only Maya, Dr. Rao, and I have it." Hannah touched the phone like it was a dangerous object. I feel like I'm in a spy movie. It's too much." "It's necessary," Elliot said, his tone turning serious. He tapped his tablet. "I've been monitoring your old accounts. Travis has logged into your Instagram 4 times since 6 a.m. He's checked your Find My Friends location 12 times. He's called your mother." Hannah dropped her fork. "My mom? What did he say?" "He's spinning the narrative," Elliot explained. "He told her he's worried sick. He said you've been acting erratic, maybe mixing your anxiety meds with alcohol. He's planting the seeds of instability." Hannah felt the tears prick her eyes. "He's going to make everyone hate me. He's going to make me look crazy." Elliot leaned forward, resting his elbows on the counter. "Hannah, look at me." She met his slate gray eyes. "This is the textbook playbook of a narcissist losing control," Elliot said, his voice firm but kind. "It's called DARVO, Deny, Attack, and Reverse Victim and Offender. He is currently painting himself as the concerned savior and you as the unstable runaway. It hurts, I know, But it's predictable, and because it's predictable, we can beat it. How? She whispered. By not playing his game, Elliot said. He wants a reaction. He wants you to post a frantic defense so he can dissect it. We give him nothing. We give him silence. Silence terrifies men like him because they can't control it. 3 days passed. Life at the stronghold settled into a strange, quiet rhythm. In the mornings, Dr. Rao would come to check Hannah's ribs and guide her through gentle breathing exercises to prevent pneumonia. In the afternoons, Hannah would sit on the terrace watching the hawks circle over the Texas hills, feeling the sun knit her bones back together. She expected Elliot to be busy, to disappear into his work and leave her to Maya, but he was surprisingly present. He worked from home, managing his empire of cybersecurity firms from a laptop on the patio. He didn't hover, but he was there. One evening, a thunderstorm rolled in, a classic Texas downpour that turned the sky purple and shook the glass walls. Hannah flinched at a loud crack of thunder. Elliot, who was watching a basketball game on the TV, muted the sound. "You okay?" "Loud noises," Hannah murmured, hugging a cushion to her chest. "Sorry. Don't apologize for reflexes," Elliot said. He stood up and walked over to the fireplace, turning it on. The warm glow pushed back the storm's gloom. "I used to jump every time a door slammed." Hannah looked at him. It was the first time he had offered a piece of his own history. "You?" she asked. "You seem unbreakable." Elliot laughed, a dry, short sound. "Everyone breaks, Hannah. The trick is how you put the pieces back together." He sat in the armchair opposite her. The atmosphere shifted. It wasn't just strategy anymore. It was connection. "Why do you do this?" Hannah asked. "Maya told me you help people, that you have a why." Elliot looked into the fire. His jaw tightened. 7 years ago, he began, his voice low. I was just a tech guy. Rich, arrogant, thought I could code my way out of any problem. My fiancée, Sarah, she had an ex, a guy from college. He wouldn't let go. Hannah held her breath. "We did everything right," Elliot continued, bitterness seeping into his tone. "Restraining orders, police reports, changed locks, but a piece of paper doesn't stop a bullet. And the police, they can only react after a crime is committed. They don't prevent." He looked at Hannah. The pain in his eyes was raw, contrasting with his usual stoic demeanor. "He broke in one night while I was stuck in traffic. I was on the phone with her. I heard it happen. I was 15 minutes away. I have billions of dollars, Hannah. I can buy islands. I can buy governments. But I couldn't buy 15 minutes. A tear slipped down Hannah's cheek. "I'm so sorry, Elliot." "I swore that night," Elliot said, "that I would use my resources to buy time for people who didn't have it, to be the wall that stands between the monster and the victim. That's why I built this company. That's why I answered your text." He stood up, shaking off the memory. "So, no," he said softly. "I'm not doing this for charity. I'm doing this because every time I stop one of them, I feel like I'm saving her, just a little bit." Hannah reached out and for a brief second touched his hand. His skin was warm. He didn't pull away. "Thank you," she whispered, "for saving me." "We're not done yet," Elliot said, his eyes hardening again. "Travis is quiet today. That means he's planning something big." Elliot's prediction came true 48 hours later. Hannah was in the home gym, walking slowly on the treadmill while Maya spotted her when Elliot walked in. His face was grim. He held a tablet. "Stop the workout," Elliot said. Maya hit the emergency stop. "What is it?" "He went public," Elliot said. "Channel 5 News, and he launched a social media campaign." Hannah's blood ran cold. "Show me." Elliot hesitated. "Hannah, you don't need to see the comments. Just the video." "Show me," she insisted. She needed to know the enemy. Elliot handed her the tablet. It was a clip from the morning news. Travis was sitting on a couch, looking devastatingly handsome but disheveled. No tie, sleeves rolled up, dark circles under his eyes. Makeup, Hannah knew. He was holding a picture of Hannah. "I just want her to come home," Travis said to the interviewer, his voice breaking perfectly. "She's been struggling with mental health issues for a while. Paranoia, mood swings. I tried to get her help, but she just snapped. She ran away without her medication. I'm terrified she's going to hurt herself. Hannah, if you're watching this, I love you. We can fix this. Just come home." The interviewer nodded sympathetically. A heartbreaking plea from a local business leader. If anyone has seen Hannah Pierce, please contact the authorities or the number on your screen. Hannah felt like she was going to vomit. It was a masterclass in manipulation. He had taken her reality, her fear of him, and twisted it into her being the dangerous one. She scrolled down to the comments section of the video online. "Poor guy. She looks crazy in that photo. I know him. He's the nicest guy. She probably cheated and ran off. Mental illness is real. Hope she gets help before she hurts someone. Why do women always do this to good men? They believe him," Hannah whispered, her voice trembling. "Everyone believes him. My friends, my family. The whole city thinks I'm the problem." She looked up at Elliot, panic rising in her chest. "I can't go back. I can never go back. If I step foot in Austin, the police will drag me to a psych ward, and he'll be there waiting to sign me out." "That is exactly his plan," Elliot said. "He is trying to flush you out. He wants you to feel isolated so you surrender." Hannah paced the room, clutching her ribs. "It's working. I feel like the walls are closing in. He's winning, Elliot." "He is winning the skirmish," Elliot said calmly, taking the tablet back. "But he just made a fatal tactical error." "What error? He looks like a saint." "He went on record," Elliot said, a dangerous glint appearing in his eyes. "He lied on national television. He claimed you are mentally unstable. He claimed he never hurt you." Elliot walked to the wall of the gym, which was actually a smart glass display. He swiped his hand and the screen illuminated with a complex web of data. "While he was crying on TV," Elliot said, "Maya and I were digging into his digital history. We found something." "What?" "Travis isn't just a bad boyfriend, Hannah," Maya said, stepping forward. "We found a police report from 5 years ago. Sealed, expunged. Another girl. Another accident. Another cracked rib." Hannah gasped. "Who is she?" "Her name is Chloe," Elliot said. "She lives in Houston now. She signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, in exchange for a settlement. That's why she never spoke up." "So we can't use her," Hannah said, defeated. "We can't force her," Elliot corrected. "But the NDA is void if a crime was committed, and Travis just committed slander and filed a false police report about a missing person." Elliot walked over to Hannah. He placed his hands on her shoulders, grounding her. "He brought the fight to the public, Hannah. He thinks the public is his shield, but the public is fickle. They love a hero, but they love the fall of a villain even more." He paused. "I have a plan, but it requires you to be brave. Braver than you've ever been." "What do I have to do?" Hannah asked. "We don't hide anymore," Elliot said. "In 3 days, the tech summit is happening in downtown Austin. Every news outlet will be there. I'm the keynote speaker." He looked deep into her eyes. "I want you to come with me, not as a victim, but as the proof." The road from Austin to Houston is a long, flat stretch of Highway 290, cutting through pastures, small towns with singular water towers, and an endless expanse of Texas sky. They took a sedan this time, a nondescript silver Toyota Camry. The massive black SUV was too conspicuous for what they had to do. Elliot drove, his hands relaxed on the wheel, eyes scanning the horizon behind sunglasses. Hannah sat in the passenger seat, clutching a manila folder tight against her chest. Inside was the file on Chloe. "You don't have to talk to her," Elliot said, breaking the silence that had lasted for 50 miles. "Maya can handle the negotiation. Lawyers can handle the NDA." "No," Hannah said, surprising herself with the firmness of her voice. She looked out at the blurring green fields. "Lawyers speak a different language. If she's afraid, she needs to see someone who understands the fear." Elliot glanced at her, a flicker of respect in his slate-gray eyes. "She lives in a suburb called the Woodlands now. Married, 2 kids. She's built a fortress of normalcy. Bringing up Travis is going to be like tossing a grenade into her living room." "He broke her ribs too, Elliot," Hannah whispered. "That kind of pain. It doesn't just go away because you move to the suburbs." They arrived in the Woodlands just after noon. The neighborhood was painfully idyllic. Manicured lawns, American flags waving on porches, bicycles left on driveways. It was the picture of the safety Hannah had once craved. They parked down the street from a white colonial house. Elliot killed the engine. "I'll stay here," Elliot said. "A strange man showing up at her door will trigger her defense mechanisms. You go, take the earpiece." Hannah slid the tiny device into her ear. She stepped out into the humid heat, smoothing down her jeans. She walked up the driveway, her heart hammering a frantic rhythm against her healing ribs. She rang the doorbell. A moment later, the door opened. A woman stood there, blonde, pretty, wearing yoga pants and holding a toddler on her hip. She looked nothing like the mugshot in the police report from 5 years ago. She looked happy. "Hi," the woman said, smiling politely. "Can I help you?" "Chloe?" Hannah asked. The woman's smile faltered slightly. "Yes?" Hannah took a deep breath. "My name is Hannah Pierce. I live in Austin. I was dating Travis Cole." The color drained from Chloe's face so fast it was terrifying. She stepped back, her hand instinctively going to the door to slam it shut. "I don't know who that is," Chloe said, her voice high and brittle. "Please leave." "He broke my ribs 4 days ago," Hannah said quickly, desperate to keep the door from closing. "He pushed me into a granite counter. He told me I was clumsy. He told me nobody would believe me." Chloe froze. The door hovered inches from the frame. The toddler babbled happily, oblivious to the tension radiating from his mother. "I know about the NDA," Hannah continued, tears stinging her eyes. "I know he paid you to be quiet. I'm not asking for money. He's on the news. He's telling everyone I'm the crazy one. And I just need to know I'm not alone." Chloe stared at Hannah. She looked at the faint bruise still visible on Hannah's jawline. She looked at the way Hannah held her left side, favoring the injury. Slowly, Chloe opened the door. "Put the chain on," she whispered. "My husband doesn't know." Inside, the house smelled of lemon cleaner and baby powder. They sat in the formal living room, a room that looked like it was rarely used. Chloe sat on the edge of the sofa, trembling. "I signed a paper. If I talk, he sues me. He said he'd take everything. My house. My savings." "He can't." Elliot's voice came through the earpiece, calm and reassuring in Hannah's ear. "Tell her the NDA is null and void if it conceals a felony. Assault is a felony. We have a legal team ready to indemnify her." Hannah repeated the words, but she added her own truth. "He's doing it again, Chloe. He's hunting me. And if I don't stop him, there's going to be another girl after me. Maybe she won't be as lucky. Maybe she won't have cracked ribs. Maybe she'll have a broken neck." Chloe looked down at her hands. She twisted her wedding ring. "He used to make me apologize," Chloe whispered, her voice barely audible. "After he hit me, he would cry and make me apologize for making him angry. Does he still do that?" "Yes," Hannah said, a chill running down her spine. "He calls it passion." Chloe looked up. Her eyes were wet. "I have the photos," she said, "from the ER. I kept them on a hard drive, just in case. I never deleted them." "Will you stand with me?" Hannah asked. "Not just privately, publicly." Chloe shook her head violently. "I can't. My life is here. My kids." "We don't need you on stage," Hannah said, listening to Elliot's guidance in her ear. "We just need the files, and a statement, a video deposition. We can blur your face, alter your voice, but we need the pattern. We need to show the world he's a repeater." Chloe hesitated. She looked at a family photo on the mantel. Then she looked back at Hannah, a mirror image of her younger self. "I'll give you the drive," Chloe said, "and I'll record the video. But I can't go to Austin. I can't see him." "That's enough," Hannah said, exhaling a breath she felt like she'd been holding for 5 years. "Thank you." As Hannah walked back to the car an hour later, clutching a small black USB drive, she felt lighter. The drive didn't just contain evidence, it contained validation. She wasn't clumsy, she wasn't crazy, she was a survivor of a pattern. She got into the car. Elliot looked at her. "You did good," he said softly. "I didn't do it for me," Hannah said, staring at the USB drive. "I did it for the girl he hasn't met yet." Back at the stronghold, the atmosphere shifted from investigative to tactical. The tech summit was 24 hours away. The house was buzzing with activity. 2 lawyers were in the dining room drafting affidavits. Maya was in the security hub coordinating with the venue's security team. Hannah stood in the guest bedroom staring at the dress hanging on the door. It wasn't a cocktail dress. It was a statement. A structured navy blue power suit, tailored to perfection. High neck, long sleeves, severe, elegant, and commanding. Elliot knocked on the open door. He was holding 2 glasses of whiskey. "To calm the nerves," he said, handing her one. "Or for courage, whichever you need." Hannah took the glass. "I'm terrified, Elliot. What if nobody cares? What if they see the evidence and still say, well, he's a rich white guy with a nice smile, let's give him a pass?" "That is a possibility," Elliot admitted. He walked to the window, looking out at the darkness. "The world loves to forgive powerful men. But we have something they can't ignore." "What?" "We have the element of surprise, and we have the platform. I'm not just letting you speak, Hannah. I'm integrating your story into my keynote. My speech is about security in the modern age, about how firewalls protect data, but we have no firewalls for people." He turned to face her. The room was dim, lit only by a floor lamp. The intimacy of the moment was palpable. "But before we do this," Elliot said, his voice turning serious, "I need you to know there is an option B." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a thick envelope. He placed it on the dresser. "What is that?" "Passport, new identity. A bank account with enough funds to live comfortably for 10 years anywhere in Europe. An apartment lease in Lyon, France is already signed in this name." Hannah stared at the envelope. "You're kicking me out?" "No," Elliot said intensely. "I'm giving you a choice. If you go on that stage tomorrow, Travis will come for you with everything he has. The media will dissect your life. It will be ugly. It will be a war." He gestured to the envelope. "This is peace. You can leave tonight. Maya will drive you to a private airfield. You can be in France by morning. You can never hear the name Travis Cole again." Hannah looked at the envelope. Lyon, cobblestone streets, coffee, anonymity, safety. It was everything she had wanted the night she sent that text. Then she looked at the navy suit. She thought of Chloe, hiding in her house, terrified of a ghost. She thought of Travis's smug face on the TV screen, telling the world she was unstable. If she left, he won. If she left, he would do it again. Hannah reached out and picked up the envelope. She felt the weight of it. Then she handed it back to Elliot. "I don't speak French," she said, a small, defiant smile touching her lips. Elliot stared at her for a long moment. A mixture of relief and fierce admiration washed over his face. He put the envelope back in his pocket. "Okay," he said hoarsely. "We fight." He took a step closer. The air between them crackled. It wasn't just gratitude anymore. It was a shared frequency. "You should know," Elliot said quietly, "that even if you had taken the envelope, I would have gone after him for you. I wouldn't have let him get away with it." "I know," Hannah said. She looked up at him. "But I'm tired of people fighting my battles, Elliot. I want to throw the punch." Elliot nodded. He raised his glass. "To throwing punches." "To breaking things," Hannah corrected. They clinked glasses. Meanwhile, in a penthouse overlooking Lady Bird Lake, Travis Cole paced the floor. He was holding a scotch, but his hand was shaking. His contact at the police department had just called. Someone ran a check on a Jane Doe matching Hannah's description in Houston, but the trail went cold. "Houston?" Travis muttered. "Why Houston?" He sat at his desk, opening his laptop. He pulled up his secret files, folders labeled with names. Sarah, Jessica, Hannah. He clicked on the folder labeled Chloe. He hadn't thought about Chloe in years. She was paid off. She was scared. She was a non-factor. But paranoia is a powerful drug. He picked up his phone and dialed his lawyer. "Hey, it's Travis. I need you to send a cease and desist reminder to Chloe Miller. Just a friendly nudge. Remind her of the penalties." He hung up. He looked at the invite for the tech summit on his desk. He was attending as a VIP guest. He planned to network, to play the grieving, worried boyfriend in front of the city's elite. He didn't know that he was walking into an execution. The Austin Convention Center was a cavernous beast of glass and steel, humming with the electric energy of 3,000 attendees. The Future of Security Summit was the premier event of the year. Venture capitalists, tech journalists, and industry titans mingled under floating geometric lights. Travis Cole stood near the VIP section, sipping sparkling water. He looked impeccable in a charcoal suit, projecting the image of the concerned, grieving boyfriend perfectly. He had spent the last hour accepting condolences from people who had seen his interview. "Stay strong, Travis," a local councilman said, patting his shoulder. "We're all praying she comes home." "Thank you," Travis said, his voice suitably husky. "I just want her safe." The lights dimmed. A hush fell over the massive auditorium. A voice boomed over the speakers. "Please welcome the CEO of Grayson Dynamics, Elliot Grayson." Applause thundered. Travis clapped politely. He admired Grayson, a man who had turned paranoia into billions. Elliot walked onto the stage. He wore his signature look, a black turtleneck and a sharp blazer, no tie. He looked commanding, but Hannah, watching from the wings, saw the tension in his jaw. Behind him, a massive screen illuminated with lines of code. "We spend billions protecting our servers," Elliot began, his voice amplified, clear and steady. "We build firewalls to keep out hackers. We encrypt our bank accounts. We track our cars. We obsess over the security of our things." He paused, pacing the stage. "But what about the security of our people? Specifically, what happens when the threat isn't a hacker in a basement in halfway across the world, but the person sleeping in the bed next to you?" The audience shifted. This wasn't the standard tech talk. Travis frowned. He took a sip of water. "We have a glitch in our social operating system," Elliot continued. "We assume that silence means safety. We assume that if someone is smiling in a photo, they are happy. We are wrong." Elliot clicked a remote. The screen behind him went black. Then, white text appeared. It was a screenshot of a text message. "He broke me. I don't know what to do anymore. I think he's coming back tonight." A murmur went through the crowd. "4 days ago," Elliot said, "I received this message. It was a wrong number. A cry for help sent into the void. Most people would have ignored it, or called the police, who often arrive too late." Elliot looked directly into the camera that was broadcasting the feed to the giant screens, and to the live stream online. "I didn't ignore it," I answered. "And tonight I want to introduce you to the woman who sent it. Because she is not a missing person. She is not unstable. She is right here." Elliot extended a hand toward the wings. "Please welcome Hannah Pierce." The silence in the room was deafening. Travis dropped his glass. It shattered on the concrete floor, but no one looked at him. Hannah walked out. She wasn't hiding. The navy suit fit her like armor. Her hair was pulled back, revealing her face fully. She walked with a slight limp, favoring her left side, but her head was high. She looked terrifyingly composed. She took the microphone Elliot offered. Her hand was shaking, but she gripped it tight. "My name is Hannah," she said. Her voice echoed. "And for 2 years I lived in a prison disguised as a luxury apartment." Travis felt his heart slam against his ribs. He stood up. This wasn't happening. He had to stop this. "This is a lie," Travis shouted from the VIP section. His voice cracked. "She's sick. She needs help." The spotlight swung to him. 3,000 heads turned. Hannah looked down at him from the stage. She didn't flinch. "Hello, Travis," she said into the mic. "Don't listen to her," Travis yelled, trying to push past a security guard. "She's having a breakdown. I'm her boyfriend." Elliot stepped forward, standing just slightly behind Hannah, a silent wall of support. He clicked the remote again. The screen behind them changed. It wasn't just Hannah's text. It was a video. Blurred face, distorted voice, but the words were clear. "My name is Chloe. 5 years ago, Travis Cole broke 3 of my ribs because I laughed at a joke another man made. He paid me $50,000 to sign an NDA. He told me I was clumsy. He told me nobody would believe me." The crowd gasped. Travis froze. His face went pale. The screen changed again. It showed a timeline. Medical records from 2019, Chloe. Medical records from 4 days ago, Hannah. Photos of bruising that matched perfectly. "You called me unstable on the news yesterday, Travis," Hannah said, her voice gaining strength, ringing out like a bell. "You told the city I was dangerous, but the only dangerous thing here is the truth." She looked at the audience. "I am not asking for your pity," Hannah said. "I am asking you to look, to really look, because there are thousands of Hannahs, and we are done being quiet." Travis looked around. He expected to see doubt. He expected to see people on his side. Instead, he saw a sea of phones recording him. He saw disgust. He saw the one thing a narcissist cannot survive, the loss of his mask. He turned to run. He shoved a waiter aside, heading for the exit. "Not so fast," a voice said. At the exit doors, Maya stood waiting. Beside her were two officers from the Austin Police Department. They weren't smiling. "Travis Cole?" the officer said. "We have a warrant for your arrest for assault, filing a false police report, and witness intimidation." Travis looked back at the stage. Hannah was watching him. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't crying. She was just witnessing. As the officers cuffed him, the cameras flashed, capturing the image of the golden boy in silver bracelets. On stage, Elliot looked at Hannah. He didn't hug her. He didn't steal her moment. He simply nodded. Checkmate. The adrenaline crash was physical. 2 hours later, Hannah sat in the green room backstage. The summit was over. The internet was on fire. I believe Hannah was the #1 trend globally. Travis was in a holding cell, denied bail due to flight risk. Hannah stared at her hands. They were still trembling. The door opened. Elliot walked in. He looked exhausted but relieved. He was carrying a pair of sneakers. "Thought you might want out of those heels," he said, placing them by her feet. "Did we really do it?" Hannah asked, her voice small. "You did it," Elliot said. "I just built the stage. You walked onto it." He sat down on the couch opposite her. "The police have the drive," Elliot said. "Chloe's testimony sealed it. Plus, 2 other women have called the tip line in the last hour. He's done, Hannah. He's buried under a mountain of evidence." Hannah let out a long, shuddering breath. She leaned back, closing her eyes. "I don't know what to do now. My whole life was surviving him. Who am I now that I don't have to survive?" Elliot watched her. He had feelings for her. He knew that. In the quiet moments at the stronghold sharing coffee, watching her rebuild herself, he had fallen for her resilience. But he also knew that saving someone was a dangerous foundation for love. "That's the best part," Elliot said. "You get to decide." He reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out a set of keys. Not to a car, but to a house. "The apartment in France is still an option," Elliot said. "But there's a small house in East Austin, Holly Street. It's owned by a shell company of mine. It's empty. It has a porch, a garden. It's quiet." He placed the keys on the table. "It's yours. Rent-free for as long as you need. No strings, no security detail unless you want it. Just space." Hannah looked at the keys. Then she looked at him. "And you?" she asked. "Where will you be?" "I'll be right here," Elliot said. "Waiting. But I'm not going to swoop in and be the rebound guy, Hannah. You just got out of a cage. The last thing you need is another keeper." He stood up. He looked at her with an intensity that made her heart race. "Rebuild your life. Find out who Hannah is when she's not afraid. And when you're ready, if you want to grab a coffee with a boring tech guy, you have my number." He turned to leave. "Elliot," he stopped. "It wasn't a wrong number," she said softly. He looked back, a small smile playing on his lips. "No, I don't think it was." Epilogue. 3 months later, the Texas heat had broken, giving way to a crisp, golden autumn. On a quiet street in East Austin, a small bungalow sat behind a white picket fence. The porch was cluttered with plants, succulents, ferns, things that were growing wild and free. Hannah sat on the swing, reading a book. She looked different. Her hair was looser. She had gained a little weight, healthy weight. She wore a simple t-shirt and jeans. She wasn't looking over her shoulder. She wasn't checking her phone every 30 seconds. A silver sedan pulled up to the curb. Hannah looked up. She didn't flinch. She smiled. Elliot stepped out. He wasn't wearing a suit. He was wearing jeans and a flannel shirt, holding a brown paper grocery bag. He looked nervous. He walked up the path. "Hi," he said, stopping at the bottom of the steps. "Hi," Hannah said, closing her book. I was in the neighborhood, Elliot said, the lie obvious and charming. I brought tacos. From that place on South Congress you mentioned once. That was 2 months ago, Hannah noted, her eyes dancing. I have a good memory for data. Elliot shrugged. And for things that matter. Hannah stood up. She walked down the steps. She didn't need him to save her anymore. She didn't need his money or his security team. She stopped in front of him. She looked at the man who had answered a text in the middle of the night and changed the world for her. Not by fighting her battle, but by handing her the sword. I'm ready, Hannah said simply. For tacos? Elliot asked. For coffee, she said, and maybe for whatever comes after. Elliot smiled, a genuine wide smile that reached his eyes. Tacos first, he said. I'm starving. Deal. They walked up the steps together, not as savior and victim, but as equals. Hannah opened the front door to her own house, and for the first time in her life, she didn't lock it immediately behind her. She left it open, just for a moment, to let the fresh air in,